site here at Cashel over to the clergy, and from then on in it becomes an ecclesiastical site. This would then lead to the building of Cormac's Chapel, which was built in 1127 and was consecrated in 1124. It is the sandstone chapel which we will see as we walk around the site. Any questions? No? Behind me is what's known as a Latin cross. It's 12th century and it's known as St. Patrick's Cross. So you have a handle on this side. Originally you would have had a handle on the other side as well, only one still remains. You also have the figure of a bishop or an abbot, possibly in this case St. Patrick, we can't say for sure. It's said to have symbolised the increasing role of the church here after it was handed over in the 12th century. It is distinctive from the Irish traditional cross which you see around you, i.e. the Celtic cross, which has the circle in the middle of, in the top of it. This one actually doesn't. And in ancient culture, in our ancient culture, Irish culture, Celtic culture, we very much worshipped the elements, and the sun was very important to us because it was the symbol of rebirth and growth, providing for the growth of crops, and very, very important within our Celtic culture. Of course, there were several deities in our culture, so you will see these crosses as we walk around the site. Now, like everything in Ireland, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in Ireland long enough, you know that we like to tell stories, and we like to sing and have the crack, and that is not a drug reference, please don't. It's a crack agus cure, so fun and music, and agus bia agus all, as well as food. So it's been said that if you can hug this cross, like so, and your fingers point, apparently you will be cured of toothache forever. Now we all hate the dentist days, don't we? Anyway. So it has been said, if you're actually able to hug this and your fingers walk around, you'll be cured of toothache forever. It's also been said that if you can hop around on one foot like so, without falling of course, that you will get married within the year. Now, those of you who are already married, I'm not quite sure what happens. You just have to try it out. Now, it mightn't work since this is the replica. The real one is in the Undercroft in the museum and is made of sandstone, brought in there in 1982 for its protection. Because, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, while the sun is sparkling today, this is not common weather, even for this time of the year. Mostly it would be freezing cold and rain. So we're kind of finding it a little bit difficult to cope with these temperatures. I think it's about 25 or 26 today. Anyway, any questions? No? Everyone good? Okay, so we're going to make our way actually this way. Church chapel, so we're actually going to go this way. So if you want to follow me.
Finish, I must go by the guide. 50 cents.
I know this is very important.
Yeah, but because I want like
baby,
informations.
It's okay. I understand you now.
everyone? Yeah, everyone good?
Yeah.
So behind you there is a round tower. This is the oldest building on the site. It's about 30 metres in height, and it is distinctive in its shape and form to Ireland. And you will notice that the doorway tends to be several feet off the ground, and the windows are known as linteled, halfway up, and then you have the triangular windows at the top facing the corresponding points of north, south, east and west respectively. Now you will see round towers on the continent. They are an indication that the Irish were there. There is one in Flanders in Belgium, and it's in the Irish Memorial Garden. That was built to commemorate the Irish war dead during the Great War in 1914 to 1918, and it was also put in as a symbol of peace when the Good Friday Agreement was signed in 1998, and to whom we owe a great deal of thanks to our cousins in the United States for their involvement in all of that, because they were the only ones that both sides would respect, given the shared history. Now, in this building here, there would have been 5 floors originally. They would have been made of wood. To access this, we would have used a ladder. Now, we don't believe it would have been your standard like wooden ladder, because it would have been too heavy to move around. So it was more than likely a rope ladder. Now, there are 2 theories as to what round towers were actually used for. One was that they were used for the monks who would have been on the site, and they would have rang the bell in order to get the monks into prayer, the call to prayer. That's one theory. Another is that in times of attack, they would ring the bell to let the townspeople of Cashel to get up here ASAP, and any man who could arm himself, get up and defend the site. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you look out here today on this vista, this didn't exist. There were no roads, there were not even fields. This was all under thick, dense forest. It is only until the arrival of the Anglo-Normans in the 12th century that you get the use of stone. The most likely buildings that would have been on this site would have been wooden huts, pretty much, wooden church as well, the remains of which were found through an excavation when the site was excavated back in the first of the excavations was back in the 19th century, sometime late 19th century, early 20th century. Any questions?
So you say this tower was here and just wooden structures?
This tower, no, initially it would have been just wooden structures. Tower is recorded as the oldest building on site. So this would be 12th century. We believe somewhere around 1100, 1101. Exact records we're not entirely sure. There is only one place in Ireland that we have that is, we know for definite, its historical, its definite date, and that is Clonmacnoise, which is another ecclesiastical site in County Offaly. That dates from 1124, and we know this because there's what's known as the Annals have recorded this early Irish history. So we know that that was back in 1124. But this round tower was one of the very first round towers in Ireland to be put into an ecclesiastical site, so it's very significant in that regard. Any questions? The other, yes?
They're only square holes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so these are known as potlog holes. You can see them in the round tower, but you can see them in the walls of the cathedral. So these were for the purposes of what we believe is medieval scaffolding. So it's thought that they would have had timber logs, and they would put them through these holes, and this would allow, as I said, a kind of a medieval scaffolding to form, and therefore they would have been able to build the buildings that you see as a result of that. When they were done, they would carve off the end of the timber, and it would be left to rot, and eventually would fall out of the wall, and eventually they would get mortar or whatever they could to fill in them. ground level. Again, explaining about the defensive feature.